Have you played Expedition 33? No. You are heart. No, I'm not. Nuh-uh. Do you have difficulty understanding or responding to social cues such as eye contact, facial expressions, or body language? No, because I'm not autistic. Do you struggle with making or maintaining friendships? No, I'm not autistic. Do you have a strong need for routines and become upset when your routines are disrupted? No, I'm not autistic. Do you have an intense or highly focused interest in specific topics? No, I'm not autistic. Do you engage in repetitive behavior such as hand flapping, rocking, or repeating words or phrases? Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. They might have caught me. They might have caught me. Saul Goodman. The jig is up. I may repeat stupid shit every now and then. I worked with someone who was actually autistic, and the way he repeated shit, he didn't have control over it. I get to, adjust the phrases and shit. This guy, every time he entered a room, he did this. When he would make eye contact with you, and then you'd go. And then he had different shit he would do. He would go, whoa! Every single fucking time he saw you. You know? It's different. When it's automatic, it's fucking different. No neurotypical persons playing Masters Jungle. Sometimes, okay. Do you have difficulty with verbal communication, such as engaging in conversations or understanding sarcasm/humor? No. Is that a fucking dead indicator where I have, like, pretty good humor, like Jizzy Jims? That I'm not autistic? What the fuck? Keep hiding it, Sawyer. Like, guys, I can walk into a grocery store and I'm not overstimmed. I'm not fucking autistic. I don't get fucking... I don't get any of this shit, honestly. You think League players are somewhere on the spectrum? No, man. There was stuff before that, too. There was stuff before, like, it was all even on the board. Where we knew gamers just, like, think in a different way. I always found this part frustrating with Elise. Turning and doing these, like, noodle autos I never enjoyed. Damn, I get double warded? Just for me to full clear, lol. Oh, when that Elise Q is up, cast it. No reason to delay. It's a super short cooldown. Old ass LS video. He's like, why aren't you in spider form moving? It gives you more movement speed. 10,000 years before any normal person would have said some shit like that. Try suck, yeah. Fucking dead, bud. Hello. Pussy. Suck my dick, ho. You don't want to try me. Never back down, never what? Never repeat phrases or they'll think you're autistic. Do you have sensory issues such as being bothered by certain sounds, textures, lights? No, I'm not autistic. You struggle with understanding or expressing emotions? You know, sometimes. Do you have difficulty with nonverbal communication such as... No. Do you have a preference for solitary activities? Yes. I prefer to go out and do things with people I know. I'll even do them with strangers, but then it's like, let's go home and get the fuck out of here. But that's just probably introvert, obviously. When I do an activity that's not like regular, I get more spent, but that's fucking anyone. I did driving yesterday and I was obviously more spent than usual, but it's normal. Bing, bing. Just show up. Is this Diamond the pro player? Is that why he's pinging so much? Here they come, y'all. Here they come, y'all. Okay, pretty bad smite. I need my second transform so much faster to make anything out of that. They're gonna clean it up anyways. Invade him, invade him. Would you recommend Warwick to a bronze jungler? Yeah.
Double kill.
I know what kind of man you are. Nuh-uh. Can you play Zac for free? Definitely not. There's no camps? What the fuck am I doing up here then? Fucking krill this guy. Fuck. It's an Elise gank right there. Eat all that damage, bitch. And they see me exiting, but like now they think invade. Very stupid. Oh. Ambessa, I think invade, okay. Oh. Cut it out. So dead. Nice, he's dead. Ambessa's looking for ulti.
Double kill.
Dude, that shit with Elise is so fun though, like, the fights are so close. Back to full HP. There's so many jungle champions with pets now. The only one for the longest time was Elise, but now there's Nefiri, there's Yorick, Zyra. So I'm pretty used to like managing the jungle camps with the pets. Used to traveling with my fur baby, my doggo. What jungle champ would you be friends with? Diego's probably not very fun to be friends with. Even though he seems cool, he's not. Not to you, at least. You know, he's not very homely. He's not very chill. Very tense guy. There's a lot of serious shit. Okay, my team's trolling. We should have just contested the Void Grubs. I don't know what they're doing. Which jungle champ would I be friends with? I don't know. Diego's definitely autistic. Write that down. Game modes. Just a lot of these champions, I'm like, you just can't even be friends with these guys. They're not friendly. Lee Sin. I'd be friends with Lee Sin. Lee Sin's a cool guy for sure. Fuck. I didn't flash. How does it feel to be the funniest challenger jungle content creator of all time? Lilia, because tits and hooves. Does Lilia even have tits? Mild or no characteristics of autism. Okay. Imagine being diagnosed with a mild case of autism. Smashing or passing on Briar? Fucking pass. If you have sex with a girl like Briar, it's fucking crazy. It's not worth it. The sex is good, you know what's not? The rest of your life. We need to all stop trolling and just like help bot lane. Bye. So stupid. So stupid. What? They just all in like no one's business. My whole team's there, no one care. No one on their team fucking care. Diego's the kid who talks about how many marijuanas he smoked that weekend. True. Dude, there was this one fucking guy who was so weird. He wore a leather jacket in high school. And he sat in the desk in front of me, so he always had the free pass to turn it right around and then start talking to me unprompted. And he had this fucking Jabba the Hutt slug of a girlfriend. And he would tell me about the shit that they would do, and I'm like, shut up. And he was obviously like on some high school shit, just making shit up. He was like, we tried, this is how he talked, we tried anal for the first time. And I was too big. I was like, you have to shut up or I'm gonna blow my fucking brains out.
Turret plating will fall soon.
Like, she is as big as the fucking Empire State Building. There's no way you were too big. Fucking impossible. Never doing that blue buff, B. You waiting for nothing. Like, if you're a type of guy that finds it weird when other guys, not other guys, when you're around a bunch of guys, it's different, but when a singular guy comes up to you and is like, dude, that girl's so hot, just know that no one likes that shit. No one normal I've ever known has ever been, like, really into stupid shit like that. Especially at work. Bro, there was this fucking ancient, probably 50 or 60-year-old guy talking about this one girl we worked with who was like 20 and looked like a fucking beanpole. But he, of course, to him, you know, that's fucking... the hottest girl he's ever seen. And he's like, if I was just a couple years younger, yeah. I was like, yep. Bye. Sure.
An enemy has been slain.
100, okay. There's no way his camps are up. I work at a card shop, and the shit I've heard people say when they see a woman. For fuck's sake, FF. FF. Like, once you get past, like, just the nice fucking, she looks nice, or damn, she looks really good. Anything past that is like, holy shit, shut up. I think it's just a form of low IQ, so it's like, I can't hate them too much, because that's just how they spawned, but also, holy shit. Maybe I should be jealous of them. Maybe they, like, fucking are extra hornier than I could ever be. They got a different fucking gear. But surely it's just like, you know, they don't have the object permanence because they're a little lower IQ, like I said, and then it's like the first time they've ever seen a boob. Me personally, after I've seen, you know, thousands of boobs online, it's not as cool as it used to be. I've seen it all. I've seen every fucking boob there ever has been, okay? I grew up with the internet, it's over. But I feel like lower IQ guy could look at porn today and be like, wow, look at that! They'd be so excited. Open any porn page, I'll probably be like, that's alright. Seen it, though. It's like someone who's watched too much anime. I've seen it. Yep.
Shut down.
I think that I'm just like that in general, where I'm like, how the fuck does anyone enjoy this? We've all done it 1,000 times. How do you enjoy it that much? That's what I'm thinking. How do you enjoy it that much? Like, are you... These... Whatever, they're not faking it, but... Fuck if I know. Like, people that are respectful to girls that play games and shit. Being respectful actively is, like, kind of cringe, though. If it's not natural, it's fucked up. Danger, it's a half health in Bessa. Danger. Now I'm dead because I repelled. A raptor. No, we're both retarded. Hi, cool guy Sawyer. Yes, it's me, cool guy. It is 19 minutes. Like, where is that turret, man? There's, like, no progress in this game. Senna's still bot lane, and there's still no bot lane turret. Despite everything happening topside. Let's see some set. That'll be $30 fucking in this economy. We got 7 games to play here. You have a favorite anime? Nope.
An enemy is unstoppable.
Honorable mentions, Death Note. Death Note is like such a gaming-esque sort of anime. It gets the fucking gears going. Feels pretty good. Like if I watched Death Note today, I'd probably play League like a little bit better the next week or so. Bye. He got his Q off. They both got their Q off. Favorite Minecraft mod? RPG. RPG for sure. That shit was pretty beast. I never beat it, but it's not worth beating. But it was pretty beast to like grind through. Fully Cooley's a pretty cool anime. I like that one. Bleach was very cool when I was a kid. I doubt that I could watch it now. Bleach's intro songs were fucking awesome though. That shit, very cool as a kid, very cool. The Naruto intros too, when I was a kid, was fucking beast. Fuck, I would during the weekends, holy shit. I would wake up, go to the card shop, be gaming all fucking day, and then come home, and Naruto was on at night. Fuck, that was good. The Naruto intros are top fucking tier. Before Shippuden, never watched that shit. Didn't get my cocoon off. That ain't no problem. You just kill me? Like that? What I'm getting for Christmas. Life was so simple back then before my frontal lobe was developed and I was 13 and... I from Brazil? Hello. Demon Slayer's Fire? Yeah, that was one of the only animes I watched through recently is Demon Slayer. I like Demon Slayer. It's not like an OG anime though. Oh my god, of course. Favorite anime? Fucking Dragon Ball, of course. Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, holy shit. Nothing fucking came close as a kid to being as cool as Dragon Ball. Nothing.
Triple kill. Shut down.
I don't even think Dragon Ball Z had like any good intro songs, unless I'm wrong. I watched Dragon Ball recently, like 2 years ago, you know, that's how. 2 years ago recently. And Dragon Ball's a fun show. It's like, it's kind of like a gag sort of anime, and but then it has that serious aspect, and it just set the tone for all that Dragon Ball Z and all the other ones were. It's very cool to see how it started. And that's why Dragon Ball's so good. It's just classic yin and yang. Like, Dragon Ball's so gaming coded. Completely dead serious, ridiculous, and silly. No in between. That reveals. FF. The enemy team was simply better. It is what it is. Play some Kane.